Hey family, welcome to the Hub. I just had to have my girl Shani Curry. Now, Shani is a personal finance expert. She will help you get all your coins together. And I've known her for many, many years. We even used to host a show together, and I had to have her here. So, welcome, Shani.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, Shani, there's so much to talk about. And just in case you guys don't watch the whole episode, I want to plug Shani's book. I read it a very long time ago, but it's good. I know if y'all follow Dave Ramsey and the rest, listen, you need Shani Curry in your life. Okay. So, Shani, share with them the title of your book and where they can find it.
It's called 10 Things Every Woman Should Keep in Her Purse. You can get on my website, purseempowerment.com. You can grab it on any social media because it's inside of the link, or you can go straight to Amazon. It's called 10 Things Every Woman Should Keep in Her Purse. It's a personal finance guide for women.
I love it. I love it. All right, Shani. So now we have heard a lot of the foolishness that has been put out into the atmosphere by a certain gentleman named Kevin Samuels. And the specific clip that I saw was all around him tearing down a young woman just because of her wanting someone, which, the new term is, the high value man, the man
so
that
interesting.
makes the money, that
That's
has
so
the
interesting.
education. And then he's tearing down this woman saying she could never ever get a man like that because she wasn't pretty enough, she didn't have the education enough, she didn't have enough money for him. So let's talk about it, Shani. Like, what is your sentiment to all of that?
So I mean, I take everything with a grain of salt. I can pretty much learn anything from someone. Sometimes what I may learn from them may be the adverse of what it is that they're offering. It does provide some insight into mind. Just in my own experiences with men, I haven't really encountered the things that he is sharing to be true. So when you invited me over to speak, and you're saying that many of the women that you talk to are women who are looking to get married and, dating and, this whole buzzword between the high value man, if women are listening to that, I did want to discuss some of the thoughts as it relates to this high value man. Me, myself, someone who has been working in the industry of personal finance over the last 12 years. I myself do not define a high value man just by how he operates financially. I think that is a part of something that someone can contribute to your life. Hopefully you guys can leverage your ability to generate resources in a way transferred over as a legacy. That's my mindset on that. So I really do not use cash as a way to constitute whether or not if someone is high value. Also, just to dispel one of his very interesting concepts, he actually said that there was this one woman. I don't watch it. I don't watch it because my tolerance for that type of stuff is just very, very low. Yeah. I'm too reactive. I'm in therapy for that. I'm working on being responsive. So I don't I don't watch the show, but I do watch the sentiment of some of the other. And I do have clients and I do read things online. So I do get to see a tidbit of the conversations. And one of the episodes that received a lot of buzz is where basically he was telling this woman that was a single mother that she could never have a high value man, right? She could never, right? Because she was a single mother. And what's so interesting about that, I'd like for anyone that's watching this episode, I'd like for them to Google those girlfriend. is a single mother, and she is over 50. Okay. So I don't know Jeff. I don't know how he moved in terms of his emotional intelligence, but when it comes to financial intelligence, he is quoted in many spaces as one of the wealthiest men on the planet, one of the wealthiest people on the planet. Forget gender.
Wow.
So that dispels that. Now, I'm not gonna say I'm not use an outlier as a way to substantiate my perspective, but wherever an outlier exists, that means that more can be created. She is not the first. So for the women who will be, kind of listening to some of that stuff, kind of hoping to pick up some pearls and gems to kind of navigate that space, that would be the first thought that you would just go ahead and dispel right off the bat. Because Jeff, okay,
he got all the coins. Okay,
listen, that's heavy coinage. I don't know where he fares on, emotional availability and all of that, but I don't know, but it seems that the way how this high value man, at least that's offered over, is on the basis of what the person generates in terms of income. So I did want to give that thought and that outlier to the women that is tuned in.
I love
for
that.
sure.
Oh my God. So yeah, so it's the examples, right? And there are so many examples of individuals that are not on the quote unquote same level. I remember I read a book by Michael Eric Dyson. He said the majority of couples are on two different levels when it comes to education, to financial ability. So one could be a PhD, one could be a mechanic. Either way, it can still come together. It's like that doesn't define who you are. That's the problem I see so much today, right, Shani? It's like people are
and just in terms of me working with some of my clients, I do find income ranges to be very similar in terms of my clients. I've been working in the industry over the years, so I do find,
I said, tell us, girl, tell us.
Yeah, so I do, and then my representation of, like just my surveys in terms of a personal pool, it would be coming from 12 years of research working with individuals as well as couples. So that would represent a sample of people that are either single, and dating that may, come to me, and I'll work with them in terms of their financial goals. And then there's married couples. So the sample that I have available me between the ages of about 35 and 45, I have a lot of people that are marrying within their same, maybe about $8,000 to $10,000 in terms of differences. Okay. I also do work with a few couples where the husband is the breadwinner, and then the wife is predominantly in the home. Predominantly, taking care of the children. So I do have a few of those as couples. Yeah. And I do find a lot of alignment as it relates to similar financial backgrounds. Like, I have dentists that are married to engineers. I have doctors that are married to doctors. I have nurses that are married to nurse. I have individuals, one person might work in transportation, the other person may be a postal worker. So very, very similar as it relates to income. That may also have a, similar income may also have to, in terms of social spaces, shared social spaces where people kind of go out, you tend to mingle in those spaces. So that's maybe where, you're meeting people as it relates to their dollar dynamics. So I would say that finances do play a large role, but as I work with couples, mostly it's going to be about communication surrounding cash as opposed to the amount of cash. Okay. In my experience, I've just couples that do not make as much money have better abilities to share the resources. I don't know if it's easier to share 500 than it is to share 500,000. The verdict is still out on that. I'm still out on that. I'm not
Shani,
necessarily.
Shani, let's talk about it because
Yes.
I get a lot of women that come to me, right? That are like, do I have to share everything I make? Like that's a thing. Like, I've
Mm-hmm.
been hurt before, or maybe I've been divorced, and like I don't know if I want somebody to leech off of me, so I want a side stash over here. So the honesty piece, can we talk about why is it important to be honest and communicate around your finances?
Well, the biggest reason why you want to be honest is because you need to be able to. I mean, for me, it's more so about, and this is just like my personal preference. It's more so about how you and the person work together. So if you are manipulating information about, where you stand financially, that is an indicator really not having a whole lot of vulnerability with that person, right? So today you're lying about how much you make, tomorrow you're lying about how much you spend. And then, so that, there's really no space, and when you start thinking about high value is being able to, for me, is being able to share a deficit with someone and see how they deal with that deficit, right? Because within a marriage, within any type of relationship, there is going to be deficits, right? These are things that are just going to be there. Things are going to happen. Income is going to increase, is going to decrease, but the factor that you want in terms of sharing a life with someone that you can transfer over in the form of a financial legacy or intellectual legacy is your ability to create together. Crazy Kevin, that's what I'm gonna call him. Crazy Kevin. I really wish his name started with the I wish it was Calvin, because then the play on words would be more effective. Crazy Calvin. Can't call him that, I have to call him Crazy Kevin. And so he also had the audacity to say that high value men do not care about a woman's educational background.
So they just want anybody.
Listen, they say that has no basis. Kevin says that has no basis on what you bring to the table financially. And that is just very, very interesting to be, encouraging that type of ideology at a time, during a pandemic, because his show kind of, pulled up a during the pandemic. So can you imagine, while people are undergoing financial flux, whether it's financial flux upward mobility, or if it's financial flux in terms of financial stagnation, right? There is some movement. Could you imagine a demographic of women listening to this man, hoping to get pearls and gems and things like that, being bantered for what they contribute financially? So you could continue to, send out this ideology that high value man does not value your education or what you financially. So what you start doing, sis, you like that degree you was working on, you like, the hell with this. That promotion you were looking at, you like, forget this. Mind you, we in a pandemic. Mind you need your money right now. You need this money, okay? You don't know where this economy is actually going to land when all of this shakes down, right? Whenever we get the opportunity for the amount of money that the government has pumped into the economy, right? In the form of in the forms of holding back student loans, in the form of child credits, when all this money has to be accounted for, right, sis? So once that wash out, and then the interest rates on mortgages and cards and credit cards goes up to begin to account for some of these differences. We've had an individual that has the ear of many brown people telling them, listen, a high value man is not looking for your education. He's for what you can financially contribute. He's looking for you to be a feminine woman, okay? He's looking for you to cook and clean and drop it like it's hot and flip your hair. Like, bro, it is not the time for this messaging, okay? Because it does not move us forward as a culture financially. This information, while you're plaguing on young women who are possibly getting their degrees, other women that are looking to move forward, seeing what they can contribute, right? You won't tell them the man ain't
Straight foolishness. I actually had one of our listeners who's a man, so men do sneak on here, send me his whole profile like, all right, you've convinced me. I'm open to love. And he is someone that does well financially. He has a private jet, y'all. And he sent me what he's looking for. And he's like, an educated woman that I can have
What the
conversations
man gonna
with.
talk about? Sis,
That's
he the man.
exactly.
Maybe you want to talk about the news, sis. You can, right? So interesting enough, right? So I mean, in my tenure, I've had the opportunity to build healthy relationships with men that are completely platonic. Many of my friends are real estate brokers, investors, investment bankers. These are mostly what my male social friendship groups look like. Yeah. And one of my mentors was sharing. He's a lot older. He's in his 60s. He is very well to do economically. And he was saying to me that at this juncture in his life, he does wish, he did say this with me. He says he does wish that he had a woman that was proud of him. He did mention that to me. Yes, he did mention that to me. He did talk a little bit about his tenure, marriage, like he had maybe about a 40-year marriage, and then it kind of ended, you know. And he was really expressing. It was a very sentimental conversation for me to see someone who has performed so well financially having this very deep craving for companionship, genuine companionship that was unattached to financial contributions. I'm not certain if that would have been his ideas. He was, you know, in his 20s and in his 30s, right? But definitely as he, what Kevin would probably say, aged out. Actually, he says men don't age out, sis. Men don't age out. As long
we
as they
age out and then the men are forever young.
Money, they do not age out, sis. Okay, the men don't age out, sis. They are in production as long as they can produce. Listen here. I even heard in one sound bite that he was saying, like, after, you know, women can't even procreate. Like some of the stuff that he pumps out at a time where we economically, brown people, really need to be prioritizing how we show up economically. It's just not the best time. When you look at the average income in the US, which is $68,000, based on his definition, ain't too many high value men anyway, okay? Secondly, ain't none of the high value men watching Tevin Samuels, okay? They watching this show, says you're not about to find your man in the comment section, because 9 out of 10, a high value man is not having any time to listen to this buffoonery. You hear me?
Yeah. 9
out of 10, who you're finding in the comment section is bro man, okay? Bro man, right? And he's really advocating that these women who would be considered high value on the basis of their finances themselves to be with bro man. He say don't look for an intellectual counterpart. Do not look for a financial counterpart. You need to date the men in the comment section, sis.
Oh, no.
So I'm really not sure how that's gonna work out.
It's not gonna work
long term.
No.
When you get to Googling, right? You should really Google some of these high value men. Just Google a few of them, just Forbes list, right? Go on the Forbes list and see who they're married to. Mm-hmm. I've done it. Many of them are married to women who are educated educated women. So do not drop your degree. Do not start lessening what you intellectually can add to a legacy. Stop thinking about what you can add to just a man. Think in terms of a legacy. Think of what you can add to a legacy. What skills do you have? What thought processes do you have? Are they intellectual? Are they financial? Are they emotional, right? When you start looking at the table. Now, if you can get bro man at the table, sis, I have no problem, okay? I have no problem. But if bro man is going to be undermining because he listens to Kevin and he got you, he ain't he got.
That should be like a new first date question. Do you listen?
So what you supposed to do with your student loans, sis? You done generated all these student loans. Now what? Start watching the show, sis. It's not financially healthy. Stop it. You're not your student loans because you're gonna say this is complete waste of my money because Kevin says I'm not going to get to the man. While I was getting to the bag, he says you cannot have both. For getting to the bag, you're not getting to the man. What? Kevin, get off these people internet. Get off. In the comment section, no way. Can't be. These are all the people that skip the classes. What? Sis, no.
So the moral of the story is don't go to the comment sections and don't
do
even
not go to the comments. What they're going to do is they're going to feed on that part of yourself, right? They're going to find that part of yourself. What it's going to feed on is the part of yourself that wants to undermine what you can contribute, right? It's going to pick apart at your intellect. It's going to pick apart at your matriculation as it relates to education. It is going to pick that apart and it's going to make it seem like you have nothing of value, especially if you've already right? You're gonna be looking like, well, I'm just not gonna have nobody. I might as well just bro man. And you ain't gonna stay with, you're gonna get a prenup messing with bro man. That's what you're gonna do.
So the moral of the story is y'all
don't watch Kevin Samuels.
Don't watch Kevin Samuels. And
do not. Unless you, because you're not going to find a how very man in the comment section, and you should really be very careful what it is that you're listening to, depositing your mind. I take it the way from the sound bites that I've seen, the way that he and there may be some, some good to what it is that he's offering. I haven't found a sound bite on that as of yet. Haven't found that yet. I do like that he is encouraging women to step more into their femininity, but I do think that us as a people, when you start talking about brown people, we can not only offer our just that femininity, just from an economical standpoint. When you look at, median income $68,000, and when you drop that down to, brown America, right? Those numbers are definitely lesser, right? When we talk about being able to position our children to compete in the larger financial market, the schools that these children are being able to get educated in, the social activities that they're going to be able to be exposed to, the social environments, the vacation, the things that it takes, right, to begin to align a child so that they can one day participate, in an active way within a legacy, requires some level of education. It requires this, social education is not to be minimized. Social education is just as valuable as traditional education. You need the ability to, position yourself socially so that you can be able to call in on your educational, gains. So the main thing that I like is that I do like that Jeff Bezos is with a single mother, because I like to debunk and dispel. I know some people gonna be like, Shani, that is only one. There are many, sis. There are many. I'll drop them in the comment section so you can go get my list. It's just in case you need some type of information that is going to counter this very dysfunctional information that's being pumped out into society.
I love all of this. So Shani, how can they connect with you? How can they support you? How can they show you some love?
Yeah, definitely. I don't it is very unlikely that you will see me bantering in my budgeting way about something that I've seen in social media that is not typical of me. But I do find that those sound bites are becoming more aggressive, right? And some of the commentary is making its way to me. And for someone who doesn't take in a whole lot of information, if your information making to me, that means that this is loud. As if it got my attention, because I do listen, I pay for attention. I don't just ration it out like that. So the fact that it's made it to my wheelhouse, I know that definitely women are, being discouraged by this, and it's having an impact on the way that they show up in the world, the way that they can have a genuine openness, so that they can create a healthy partnership with someone. I don't know how they define a high value man. I think it's just based on income. I have tons of clients that have healthy relationships with men that they make more money than. I do, but I just would like to broaden that definition, because on one side, if we continue to impress that upon, I have two sons, one 8 and 10, and I definitely don't want I don't want either of them to only be considered by what they can financially contribute to a table, because they might think that, once I have satisfied my ability to be a financial provider, my provision is done. I don't want them to miss out on all the developmental human skills that make life so beautiful. So when I think of that type of propaganda being pushed out, I don't really think it's fair, in terms of, just only looking at a man from what he can bring financially to the table. And then on the other hand, positioning women who have, achieved, being able to, and then the demographic that he's talking to is really a lot of women that grew up in an era where, fathers weren't as present. You understand what I'm saying? So some of this financial achievement that they had was definitely some compensating factors. You understand what I'm saying? So their education represents stability for themselves. You understand what I'm saying? It represents the ability to move from one type of neighborhood to another. So the women, this demographic that you're talking about, are women who do need to heal their trauma as relates to fatherhood abandonment. Even for some of the women that had men present, what was that active role like with the men, your uncles, your brothers, So these are the women to the show, the women that's in our generation. Listen. So you can find me, Person Empowerment, anywhere.
Now y'all know you got some good stuff from Shani, so make sure to show her some love, buy the book, and just follow her on social media. Thank you for coming on, Shani. I appreciate
You're welcome. Always good times. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Much love. Many blessings.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All y'all, make sure to keep liking, keep loving, keep laughing. Until next time, see you guys later.